We're going to see if we can get rid of 5 possessions that we thought we needed in retirement, but we definitely don't. Some of these things survived our original downsizing move. At the time, we convinced ourselves there was a perfectly good reason to keep every one of them. I might need it someday. It could save me some money. Maybe I'll finally have time to use it after I retire. But the closer we got to retirement, the more we realized that keeping something just in case has a cost of its own. It takes up space, it creates clutter, and sometimes it quietly becomes one more thing we feel responsible for. So today, we're going through 5 things we thought belonged in retirement life and deciding whether they still deserve a place in it. So let's see what actually makes the cut.
So number one is work clothes. And the first thing I thought I'd need was a large collection of work clothes. Even though I've worked remotely for years, I still kept dress shirts and dress pants and jackets, ties, shoes that belonged to an earlier version of my working life. And I understand why. Something psychological about getting rid of work clothes before you retire. It can feel like you're, I don't know, closing a door before you're completely ready. But realistically, how many dress shirts does a retired person need?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I should get rid of everything. I still need something appropriate for weddings and funerals and dinners and other occasions, but I don't need enough clothes to report to an office 5 days a week. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping 1 or 2 good suits and I'm letting the rest go. And that isn't giving up on being productive. It's simply admitting that my daily life is changing. So the decision on my part for clothes is that most of it goes.
The second thing we looked at was the duplicate kitchen appliances: a blender, a food processor, hand mixer, stand mixer, slow cooker, pressure cooker, air fryer, toaster oven. Probably a few things hidden in the back of the cabinet we just forgot that we owned. We thought retirement would mean more cooking at home, and it probably will, but cooking more doesn't necessarily mean needing more appliances. In a smaller home, every appliance has to earn its space. If something gets used once a year, or if another appliance already does the same job, it probably doesn't need to stay. The question isn't whether an item could be useful. Almost everything can be useful under the right circumstances. The better question is whether it's useful often enough to justify storing it with the other 365 days of the year. Our decision? Keep the appliances we regularly use, donate the duplicates, and one-purpose gadgets.
So number three is my particular one, which is old technology and cables. It's old technology, and this may be the hardest category for me because I'm a technology person. I have old phones, chargers, cables, adapters, hard drives, computer parts, and devices that were once expensive or important and have since gone extinct. And every cable seems to come with the same thought: I'd rather keep this because I may eventually find the device it belongs to. And the problem with that is I usually don't. Technology becomes obsolete so quickly, and an old device may still work perfectly, but that doesn't mean it still has a useful role in our lives. I'll keep a reasonable backup phone, the cables that work with the equipment we currently own, and any storage devices that contains files I still need. Everything else can be recycled or donated responsibly. And this category also comes with an important reminder. Make sure to erase your personal information before getting rid of any phone, computer, tablet, or storage device. We do not want your personal information getting out there. Keep what works with our current technology, recycle the rest. That's the decision.
Number 4 is hobby equipment. Retirement marketing often makes it seem as though the moment you stop working, you'll suddenly become a golfer, a woodworker, a painter, gardener, fisherman, photographer, or a gourmet chef. Maybe you will. But sometimes we buy or keep equipment for the retirement version of ourselves that exists only in our imagination. We say things like, I'll finally use this when I have more time. But owning equipment doesn't create interest. These are hobbies I genuinely enjoy, especially Dean likes creating videos and writing songs, working with technology and traveling. I like to paint and do crafts. Well, those things deserve space in my retirement, but equipment connected to hobbies I keep saying I'll start someday, they might need to go. Retirement should give us the freedom to explore interests, but we don't have to fully equip every possible future version of ourselves in advance. We can always try a class, rent equipment, you can borrow something or buy it later if the interest becomes real. The decision, just keep the equipment for the hobbies we actually enjoy and let go of the fantasy hobbies.
I agree with that. Number 5 is furniture and decorations kept for sentimental reasons. You want to take this one?
Well, we keep them mainly because they have always been a part of our home. And this is where downsizing becomes emotional. A piece of the furniture may remind us of our old house or when the children were growing up, or a family member who's not here anymore, or an earlier period of our lives. The object isn't just an object anymore, it represents a memory. But keeping the object and keeping the memory are not the same thing. We're learning that we can honor our past without storing every physical reminder of it. We can take photographs. We can keep one meaningful item instead of 10. We can pass something to a family member who will actually use it. And sometimes we can simply be grateful for what the item represented and then let it go. Our home should support the life we're living now, not become a storage unit for every life we've lived before. So the decision, keep the items that are both meaningful and useful and release the ones that only create guilt or take up space.
And the results? Well, so did all 5 categories go? Not completely, and that's important. Decluttering doesn't have to mean getting rid of everything. It means becoming more intentional about what actually stays. From the work clothes, I'm keeping a couple of good outfits. From the kitchen appliance, Beth's keeping the ones we actually use. From the technology pile, I'm keeping a practical backup and the cables that still have a purpose. I'm keeping equipment for hobbies that are generally part of my life, and so is Beth. And we're also keeping a few sentimental things that bring us joy without overwhelming our space. We've come to the conclusion that we can take pictures of a lot of the things that we enjoyed in the past, things that were sentimental, and keep them in a digital archive. But the rest can go to someone who needs it. Use it, recycle it, or appreciate it more than we currently do.
We used to think that retirement preparation was mostly about making sure we had enough money. And obviously, the financial side matters.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another part of retirement planning that doesn't get discussed as often. What do we want our daily life to feel like? Do we need to spend our time organizing, clearing, storing, repairing, or worrying about possessions we rarely use? Or do we want our home to be simple enough that we have more time and energy for the people and experiences that really matter? Getting rid of something doesn't mean it was a mistake to own it. It may have served its purpose perfectly. It simply may not belong in the next chapter.
Now, we'd like to hear from you. What is the one possession that you thought you would need in retirement, but later discovered you could live without? Put it in the comments, and your answer may help someone else finally let go of something they've been keeping just in case. And if you're preparing for retirement, downsizing, or simply trying to create a less complicated life, please subscribe to this channel, Less is the New Retired, because retirement isn't only about having more time. It's about making sure that our possessions don't decide how we have to spend it. Thank you for watching. This is Dean.
I'm Beth.